Hey guys, my name's Sam and welcome to the Driving Home Reviews podcast. This is a podcast that features mine and my girlfriend Hannah's unfiltered, spoiler-filled thoughts about films we've just seen on the drive home. Just a heads up, there's a lot of strong language, full spoilers, obviously, and a lot of comments about what we see on the road, so we hope you enjoy. For this episode, we went and saw Malignant, because easy for me to say clearly, which is a new film from James Wan that's meant to be a homage to oh god, I'm going to absolutely butcher this. I think it's called Galo films from the 1960s. Not just another supernatural bad boy like his Conjurings or Insidious. Anyway, those films. But I hear you say, but Sam, what is a Galo film that you're on about? What are you banging on about? And basically, it's an Italian horror subgenre that was, well, like I said, it was from the 1960s. And this is from the official Wikipedia entry. And it says, so the, also apologies, got a bit of a sore throat. The film has mystery or detective elements and contains slasher, crime, fiction, psychological thriller, psychological horror, sexploitation, and less frequently, supernatural horror elements. This particular style of Italian-produced murder mystery horror thriller film, known more specifically in Italy as a giallo all'italiana, roughly translated as Italian-style giallo, well, obviously, usually blends the atmosphere and suspense of thriller fiction with elements of horror fiction, such as slasher violence and eroticism, similar to the French fantastique genre. Ooh, saucy. And often involves a mysterious killer whose identity is not revealed until the final act of the film. And boy, let me tell you, does this film have a mysterious killer reveal in the final act? Crikey. But anyway, we'll get to that a bit later. So let's see if we thought it was a wonderful horror film or not. Do you get it? You know, James Wan. You know, wonderful. Oh, come on, that's actually really funny.
This what?
Oh, it's nice. Sorry. It looked like there was a light, but it was the reflection on the phone. That's why I was like, what?
Oh,
What the fuck?
what the fuck indeed.
Now,
What the fuck?
what did you think of that?
What did we just watch? I don't know. I don't know what I thought of that, Sam. Oh.
I think I quite liked it. I didn't hate it.
I think I did too. I see now.
It's fucking bizarre.
I see now what, people on Twitter mean by...
It's a strange tone, isn't it?
People kept mentioning the third act, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this means, and now I'm like, oh, okay.
Because it goes fucking mental.
Yeah,
oh my word.
That was the bit that one person said that they found it just hilarious, and then one person was like, oh, it was just dumb.
I think I would have found. I must say, it kept me going. I did not know where the fuck that was going.
It was
For the longest time, I was like, what?
yeah.
I was just like,
is this a possession? Is this,
Shall I be in this lane now? Fucking indicate you can't. Which one?
To go left.
What, down here?
Yeah.
Even though it says not to go up. Okay.
Well, I thought that's the way it was taking you, so follow the map then.
Fucking.
Well, when I got it up on the map, it said it was going to take you through Rushden, so I thought it was taking you that way, but it's obviously changed its mind since.
Oh.
Oh.
Why don't I just go down?
Whoa. It's just to do that. I was
I forgot that.
Jeez Louise. Skirt, skirt. Stop it. Stop it. No. Vomit in your new car.
Fucking will not.
Well then.
Boot you out. You can walk home.
Well then. Oh dear. But yeah. What the fuck?
Because for the longest time I was like, right, okay.
I thought it was just gonna be her. Like, as her. Or then, like, maybe like I possessed her, but I didn't realise it was gonna be a fucking parasitic twin on the back of her head.
That crawled out of her skull.
Yeah. I love the doctor being like, oh yeah, we decided to remove as much of it as possible and then just push the
put
rest
it
of
in
it
it.
back in your
Put
brain.
it back in her skull.
Just push
like,
it back in. Like, I don't think that's how it works, but okay.
No.
None of the rest of this makes sense, so sure, you can make up your own rules.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean...
mind.
I mean... Let's not put the common sense thread within horror films, because...
No, some common sense.
It's just fucking weird, wasn't it? Yeah. Because I just fully was not expecting. I didn't think it was her. Like, I did a couple of points, and I thought, oh yeah, it's her.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple of points where I was like, no, it's not, because she can't do this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, surely this is just like a bit of paranormal.
Yeah.
It's like it's some sort of demon thing that maybe she's like picked up as a kid and then it's like manifested again.
Yeah. And it's separate, but she's connected to it.
Yeah.
Still, but
like
but
something
not,
to do
not
with
physically.
it. Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But no, I wasn't expecting her to start walking. Well, because for the longest time I was like, why is it weird?
Why is it like bent out of shape and
All skewy
freaky
shit like that. It's obviously because she was just walking backwards.
Yeah.
Because, oh god, yeah, it was just so strange. But a twist I definitely was not expecting.
Goodness me.
Because I was thinking, because you know at the beginning when it was like, oh, strap him down, and then he was like, oh, let's cut the cancer out or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just there like, what? Because I was like, I mean, it makes sense now.
Well, yeah. it
But
does
and I
make
was
sense
like,
now.
I just thought the kid had been like, I don't know, it was just fucking mental.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just a weird child. But then you like saw the thing, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like you saw it in like the reflection or something, didn't you?
Well, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that ain't right.
Normal.
So that was what made me like, ghost? Demon?
Yeah.
Ghost demon boy, demon child thing, and I thought must be like something like that. Like it's a like a, I don't know. I thought it was going to be like a child, a bit like that film Eli,
Yeah.
and I thought it was going to be like this child thing was a the devil's son or some cool boy child, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make much sense. Don't think it makes much more sense when you actually know what happens in the film.
Oh, no.
Because I was like, there's some paranormal shit going on here.
Yeah.
That like I was like,
For sure.
and I think that's what
For sure.
what kept me so like. There
Like,
is,
it's paranormal.
yeah. And I was like, I'm so sure it's not her. Because there was like so many times where she was with people
Yeah.
and then they saw her and then that like creepy voice thing rang. Like, but mainly when she was in the police station and she was like, oh yeah, lol. Ain't her.
Yeah. That
Like,
dumb
whatever.
bitch didn't even know I was in her roof.
And I was just like, oh, okay. So yeah, and then I was like, because he's obviously like in the thing, so I was like, it's got to be like a demon spawn thing.
Yeah.
And then when they were like, oh, we're gonna find the mum, and I was like, oh, maybe she's like, I was like, it's got to be like a sister or something, but like
Yeah.
an actual sister.
Yeah.
And oh, it makes sense with those fucking purple
Yeah.
socks at the beginning as well, doesn't it?
About the. What do you mean?
Because I was like, what the fuck is this weird thing walking around with purple panda socks on?
Yeah.
Well, oh, it's because it was the girl, wasn't it? Oh. But it just kept me guessing. I don't know if I'd describe it as a horror. Oh, I don't know.
No.
'Cause I wasn't scared. I was just like, it was like a really violent thriller,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was a bit like, well, I'd say I jumped a couple of times. I know exactly why I fucking jumped. The dickhead behind kept fucking kicking my chair.
Yeah.
It scared me. 'Cause I was like 40x or something.
Make your own 40x.
I was like, could you just fucking not?
The fucking scariest bit was when the sister popped up at the window.
Oh god, yeah, that actually did. Yeah, middle of the day. She was like,
Innit?
I couldn't
Like-
get in, and I was like,
Hello? What fucking hell, sis?
sorry, I didn't expect to see you on my
Innit?
first floor.
Oh, your
Like,
key
what?
didn't work, so knock on the door then. You're not going climbing in through the window.
Fucking
Jeez.
yeah, bloody maniac.
Good old Sydney.
Sydney.
Fucking hell. When she went into the spoopy house, and it was like, oh, okay, you know, she's hearing some funny things, and then like the next shot, she was just back with her mum, putting the tape in the player. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay then.
And then when it was like, oh, the records room
Because they
in
really
the basement,
built,
and I was like,
they really built that bit up, didn't they? I feel like they cut something out then to like make the film shorter. I don't know.
I don't know what I think about that bit, because then I was like, oh, the ghoul thing's going to turn up, but it wouldn't have made sense for it to turn up.
Yeah.
So it was just them like fucking about again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess a big abandoned building, you probably would hear. You know, it's probably, I don't know, homeless
Like,
people in there.
Pigeons or
Yeah,
some shit like
rats
that.
or things. Oh, we've gone on a little detour.
Shut there, wasn't it?
Yeah. I know.
But yeah.
She was a boss though, Sydney.
Yeah, she wasn't taking any shit.
She wasn't.
She believed her sister more or less straight away, which
She
is a
did.
bit refreshing for horror films.
That was refreshing. She was like, right, let's go to the police station and fucking hash it out with them.
And you know what? The police kind of believed her as well. They sort of went on with it for a little bit.
Well, he did. The woman not so much.
Yeah, but you know, detectives, you got to do what they want.
classic.
You know, and
Also,
it never felt. It was quite refreshing because it never felt like it was just a bunch of fucking idiots
yeah,
stumbling their way through survival, and I
Yeah.
feel like that was quite good.
yeah, that was refreshing. No, yeah, I'm with you on that. They were like, right, because when they obviously took the lead from her about that, the one that was in the bed,
Yeah, the
the
old
man
guy.
in the bed,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
obviously he took that and then found the man in the bar
Mm.
because he actually listened to her.
Yeah, and it was like the other skeptical policewoman
Mm.
who, in some respects, she was actually right because she said it was her. And
Well,
then-
yeah, sure, she did.
But I just don't think anyone was expecting the fucking her evil twin, psychotic, psychic twin thing to
Yeah.
fucking pop out of her skull. And
Fucking hell.
I did keep thinking because I was like, why is there so much blood?
Mm.
And I was like, every time she goes to sleep or every time something happens, she keeps waking up and there's blood on the pillow. And I was like, there's got to be for something. And I was like, why? It's quite a bad head wound.
Yeah.
Why didn't they stitch that up?
Right? Like, it
When
can't,
you went to,
it can't just be from when he threw you against the wall, because, like,
I mean, that
Yeah.
bit was pretty fucking grim.
that was grim.
I got a bit worried
Mhm.
because I was like,
I thought he was going to be more of a main
Yeah.
big character.
Yeah, Like, I'm glad he did die. Although fucking his neck was, his head was just like facing the complete wrong way.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, boy.
It was janky.
I was like, you just didn't stand it. Your neck did not stand a chance, did it? But yeah, I feel like this could have been, because I went into this very much with I was very two-minded about this, because I was like, I know James Wan has a certain stylistic filmmaking, because it's quite in the Conjuring films. Some of the reactions can be quite melodramatic, can't they? And because I know when you said that some people just found it like funny and they were laughing when they shouldn't have been laughing, and they couldn't tell if it was like horror comedy or serious. And I was thinking back to like the Conjuring films and like Insidious, and it does have that like through line of like some light-hearted bits.
Oh god, yeah. You know me.
And that's classic Mr. I mean, that might just be Patrick Wilson just being the most charming man alive. Who knows?
Well, that doesn't make the film funny though, does it?
Well, no, but like there is. All I was just trying to say was he does make scary films, but they do have that sort of like that underlying comedic.
Yeah.
Is that? Not comedic, but they just have a lighter tone to them.
Yeah. And bits that you would.
Yeah, and I feel
maybe
like
laugh at.
quite a lot of the supporting characters fulfilled that part.
Yeah. Yeah, like the whole bit in the prison cell with the women.
What a bunch of strange women they were.
Yeah.
I know, obviously. Well, they weren't. Were they women or were they dead police? I couldn't really tell because I know they obviously did the reveal where it was like.
Nah, they were women.
Yeah. And I was like, you've accumulated a whole bunch of an eclectic taste of women in this prison cell. Where it was like, you had the woman, the 1970s disco woman.
Yeah.
And then you had like the two ladies of the night. And then you had like the redneck bully woman, who, just a bunch of nasty women. Like, are women really that nasty in prison? Like, not even in prison,
I don't know.
but in a holding cell. Like, they've not even been sentenced, but they're just like
most of the time in a
on the
holding
street.
cell, it's probably because you're drunk or disorderly or something, so you're feeling a bit rowdy.
Yeah.
You're just a bit of a
loose cannon. Can't quite be on the streets, but probably a bit harsh sending it to prison. But that was
because obviously that bit had like kind of comedic value. Obviously, when the thing like popped out her skull and she was like, "What the fuck?" And it's like, yes, that is what we are all thinking right now. I'm glad you said that.
I feel like that was kind of what was needed.
Yeah.
Because you're just it's such a left field turn that you do kind of just need. But sorry, as I was just talking then, I was just thinking, I was like, this film feels like a bunch of people who kind of know they're in a horror movie because of just some of the way they act. So you get the sister where she was in that abandoned place, she was like, of course.
Yeah.
And then a genuine, realistic reactions to things. It feels like a lot more genuine.
Yeah.
Or like it's written by people who are like, right, if I was in this situation, what would I do?
Yeah.
And you would just be like, what the fuck? Don't you dare try and open your fucking car door. Your car door.
Car doors.
Yeah, I think that sort of that reaction sort of, I don't know, because I feel like if you play it gonna say, I feel like if you play it serious, you'd just be like, what in the fuck? But because you're making it a bit more comedic, it's acknowledging that it's a fucking bizarre twist that's happened, and it's like, you know, it's just fucking, it's crazy.
Crazy.
That being said, though, it was very good.
It was a good crazy. It was
Yeah.
refreshing. It was different.
Fucking hell, you just paved this fucking road. Why so many potholes in it, you fucks? Yeah, it was. It was like, yeah. Kept me guessing. Quite violent at times.
It was quite violent.
Quite violent.
I did think with like the first death, obviously you only really saw the like shadow, and I was like, show me more. I want to see the gore. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, you've made this in 18. It's got to be like, come on now. But yeah, then it got quite a bit. Yeah.
then it did.
God, that the Gabriel, he bloody loves snapping people's arms, doesn't he? Like a twig, like a fucking Kit Kat.
Yeah.
I was like, stop it.
Snap that
Everyone. It's just,
I don't really understand, you know, why.
he's a superhero.
Yeah. Why she's
man.
like freakishly strong.
Nah.
I didn't really
Me
get where
either.
that came from, but okay. But I love how she addressed it at the end, like, oh, it's
Actually,
my
yeah.
body. If he can make it do that, then so can I.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So it's just a mind trick, right? Mind tricks make you strong. You tell yourself you're strong, and then it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
And you can climb up walls and shit.
yeah. God, yeah. That whole like chase scene through the like subway bits or
Yeah.
wherever it was. Also, is that true?
What? They just
About-
built on top of cities?
Yeah.
I think so. Because like, it's not the first time I've heard something like that.
Is it not? It's the
No.
first time I've heard something like that. But that was an interesting fact. I was like, oh, a little bit of history there thrown in.
I really liked.
Education.
I feel like James Wan has just, because I'm pretty sure the last film he did was Aquaman. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but fuck it. But I just felt like the action scenes and the chase scenes in this were just really good.
Yeah.
Because usually in a horror film, you can't even make fucking sense, heads or tails, of who's chasing who, where
Yeah.
anyone is, like
It's all just like
how far they've run,
a
like
blurry kind of.
yeah. And I'm like, I know
mess,
they
isn't
did
it?
have that little slaughterhouse in the police station where where Gabriel was just
fucking shit up.
fucking shit up left,
Yeah.
right, and centre. But it was well done.
Yeah, it was.
It
well
was
done.
like
It was
you
like-
could see, like it was dark, sure, but it was like, but you could see everything that was happening
Yeah.
because everything was just still and, well, not still, but it was like sweeping shots, so you saw everything as it was happening.
Yeah. And it showed you enough.
Yeah, and I remember he did that in Aquaman, and that was one of the things I really liked about it, because it was like, oh, I can actually see what's happening in films, like I can see what's going on now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, I've said this to you before about horror films, where I'm like, it's really important that you establish the space that's that the thing that the set piece is taking that the set piece is taking place in. So you know, like with Conjuring films, like he gives you like long shots of them walking through the house, and it's like, right, this is the layout of said house.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, you know, this is this in the house, and I feel like it happens quite a lot in Hill House and Bly Manor as well.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know, they establish, right, this is the layout of things, because there's nothing worse than in like a film where you're like, where is this happening? Like, if it's like,
you
oh, it's a haunted
no.
house, but this also doesn't count for that because that sort of middling, about halfway through twist, where it turns out that the mum, the original birth mum, who had been kidnapped, and she was in her roof. I was fully like,
yeah.
What? I was like,
too.
oh, that's a sick little twist. I was not expecting it.
That was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Which I don't understand how we didn't put two and two together, because they showed the outside of her house so many times. So the fact that we didn't clock the round thing with the fan in it, in the window.
I think because they did, and this is one thing he did quite. James Wan did a really good job on this film. I'll give him that. I was like, I can understand why this isn't to everyone's taste.
Oh yeah.
Like, I completely see it. But then I'm like, but not every horror film is made for everyone.
Well, no, exactly.
And I do get why people don't like this, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I really like. The more I'm talking about it, I'm like, no, I did enjoy it. In part because it is just batshit crazy, and it is just like, sure, fuck it, why not?
Yeah. Okay.
But what I was gonna say is what they did really well before that whole reveal is because obviously they show you the spooky, scary attic thing.
Yeah.
And then they have that where he's running through the old decrepit house. So it's like just before that, you think, well, no, I thought it. Don't know about you, but I thought, his office is in his office. his base is in this long tunnel that we've just had this big, long, elaborate chase through.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, me too.
And I was fully
because
expecting.
that's where she worked, and
Yep.
that's where he kidnapped her from. So it would make sense that this would be where this scary thing is dwelling.
Yeah, she's the only one who works at this tour place.
Yeah.
Makes sense to kidnap her just to keep her quiet.
And at the time, we thought that Gabriel was like a separate,
A whole other
person
team.
or thing. So whether it was a monster or
just another bloke.
yeah.
I think that's the thing as well, because it threw you off. Because it was like, oh, it's here to kill this guy and then her, and then it was like nothing to do with her for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was just twist left, right, centre.
Yeah. Twisty turny. It's good.
Oh, it was
I also
good.
like the talking about James Wan and his shots, the one of her going through the house. When at the point of view.
Yeah. I was just about to say that again establishes.
Yeah,
You know,
that
that was
established
a
the
good
whole
establishing
layout
shot,
of the
wasn't it?
house,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Which I feel like,
You needed kind of.
and it kind of reminded me of Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
Don't Breathe 2, you know, I might have said it during Don't Breathe 2 actually.
Yeah.
When I was like, they have that one long shot where they're establishing where all the bad guys are, where she is, how she's navigating between them all, and I'm like, that's how you don't confuse people. That's how everyone knows what's going on, what the crack is.
Yeah. What's what? What's where?
Also, do you think he did that intentionally? Because obviously she was going a bit crazy, but living in the attic. So do you think that was meant to be like a point of view creepy crawly?
Yeah, could
going
have been.
through the attic, but following her, knowing where she was the whole time.
Yeah, could have been.
I just like his shots. You know, when he does this quite a lot when he goes into a room and he does that pan. But it's like, you know, on our phones, you know, when we've got the zoom out up, so you know when you open your camera and it's normal, and then you zoom out and it's almost like a wide angle lens.
Yeah.
And and as soon as you see one of them and a slow pan around a room, you're like, something's happening.
Yeah. Oh, God,
Something's happening in here, and I don't think I'm gonna like
He
it.
loves the slow pan.
And his really slow zoom as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which is that's not a thing that you see quite a lot in films these days, do you? Whereas I feel like back in there, in the 50s and 60s horror films, you'd always see a long zoom shot, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's effective though.
Yeah, because it's just like
It makes you tense.
you're just
like,
like
oh.
something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But he is one hell of a filmmaker, isn't he? And I feel like he really understands the genre.
He understands the
He
assignment.
does understand. He understands every assignment that he's given, I think.
He does understand the assignment.
But again, I feel like he's a big film nerd at heart, isn't he?
Gotcha.
I feel like that's why I like his film so much. So
Yeah.
I say it all the time. I'm like, nothing more I hate than a film that's made without sincerity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even like when films are shit and you can tell they've really tried, but it's still a bit shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll give you credit because
you tried.
you tried your best.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like, you could tell what was that type of film that I was told, that I'd mentioned to you, that it was sort of loosely based on that, like 1960s thing?
Yeah.
Did you read the Wikipedia thing I said? What was it? Was
Yeah,
it
the Galileo?
Galileo? Yeah. Whatever type of...
I think it was Galileo.
Yeah. Because when I was reading that, it was like, oh, it's quite like violent, like towards women and stuff. And then upon reflection, I'm like, it was quite violent towards women, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like...
But then also quite violent towards men. Cause,
yeah, it was...
You know.
I feel like that's where it sort of like tread the line between, because I feel like if it was just explicitly against women, then it'd be like sort of teetering back into like exploitation sort of films.
Yeah.
Like films I imagine were back in day.
Yeah.
But it was like, because I was reading a couple of bits about it where it's like, oh, you know, that type of film, quite often the lighting will be like neon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of neon in this, wasn't there?
There was a lot of neon.
Ooh, it's all the bad boys.
Right.
Oh,
There's so many of them. One of them is riding a scooter.
we're outside McDonald's.
Not even an electric one, just a push scooter.
I've got my Ford Fiesta, but your mum helped me buy. Fuck off, you wannabe rude boys. But yeah, I don't know if that's also why it helped with the enjoyment of it, because I kind of knew what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like without that, I mean, obviously not saying that you should have to do like extracurricular reading before you go into.
I was going to say, all right, Sam.
Well, no, but it's just because it was like they'd mentioned it on something that I read, and I was like, what type? You can't say what type of film this is, and then like, or what it's like supposed to be a homage to. And then I was like, as I was reading it, I was like, I'm getting flashbacks to that Wikipedia thing that I was reading.
Like,
so I was like, he has done his work.
It's making a little more sense.
he does know the assignment.
He does.
Twas good.
Yeah.
Like fucking bizarre. But I'm like,
bizarre.
what? Most horror films are weird, aren't they?
Oh god, yeah.
Like, you know.
Oh god, yeah. Literally, the film we watched last night, like, that was
What?
bizarre.
Oh.
Eli.
Oh, well.
Did we not watch that last night?
Nah, Shang-Chi was yesterday. Shang-Chi.
Oh. Okay, the night
When was
before
that?
then.
What day was it? Was that Monday? What day of the week is it? Is it Wednesday today?
It's Wednesday, yeah. So
Yeah.
we watched that on Monday.
Yeah. Shang-Chi yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potatoes, potatoes.
Well, accuracy is key with that.
But yeah, like, that was fucking bonkers, and you're
That
just
was
like,
bonkers.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
You're kind of
the ending of that
accepting
was
it.
just fucking like.
It was kind of a bit
What?
like this ending, really.
It came so left field that it didn't really.
Yeah,
But then I was kind of fine with it.
yeah.
I feel
It's
like
oh,
it takes a lot for me to really hate something
yeah.
or really dislike. As you tell, like In the Earth, that really pissed me off. That did.
Yeah, that film was bad. And that one we watched with Natalie and Steve. What the fuck was that?
1922.
Yeah. Oh, it was shite.
Yeah, I just think.
It was horse shite.
Yeah. That was one of those films where it was like it just tried to be too of that like 1920s era, but
Yeah.
was just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that In the Earth though, that was just shit. Like it really were.
It really were. But then I do feel like people will say that about this film.
Yeah.
I
can
do
see.
get why.
Yeah. Can quite easily see
in that
it.
whole final bit, I was like, am I enjoying this? And I was laughing, and then I was like a little bit like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Trying to get my head around it, and then I was like, okay, I'm accepting of what's going on.
Yeah. I think because by that point I was like, well, I don't know. I think because I hadn't set any expectations in my head. Because I feel like usually that's what will make people think something's shit.
Yeah.
Is when in their head they're like, well,
That's
I know how
it.
this is going to pan out.
Yeah.
And then it'll either be, it pans out exactly as they think and it'll be great. Or it pans out and it surprises them.
Yeah.
And then they go, and then from there it's either, well, that was a great twist, or that was completely shit, but no one really ever says because that wasn't what they were expecting.
Wasn't what they were,
Yeah, like they'll say, oh, well, it was just shit, it just came out of nowhere, and it's like, well, yeah, but were you all prior to that twist?
Not what you were expecting.
Yeah, had you already thought about what you thought it was going to be, and then because it wasn't that,
now you're annoyed about it.
Yeah. Whereas, like this, didn't know where the fuck he was going. Couldn't have guessed.
That's probably why. We're very open-minded, aren't we?
Yeah. Like,
I think as well because we try not to, but we don't read too much into things before we go and see them.
Yeah.
We'll see the odd thing.
We'll see the odd fucking
like
Empire review.
Yeah.
Or the fucking
Twitter.
The Guardian review. Whenever you're on Facebook, you're scrolling down, and it's like, Peter Bradshaw gave this 5-star film only 2 stars because he's an old white man who doesn't give a shit about whatever. And it's like, fuck off.
I would never read reviews before going into a film and form my opinion and be like, oh, this person said it's shit, so it's gonna be shit. Like I would never do that. No.
Oh shit! Why are we doing this then? Fuck! We might as well just stop.
Well, no, but I feel like this people wouldn't listen to before they go and see a film because it's big spoilies.
So like
this kind of thing you'd listen to afterwards.
Yeah,
and
unless it's a film that you don't really want to go see, in which case listen, and then we'll spoil.
We'll spoil it all for you.
Yeah, we'll spoil everything, be it good or bad, and then you can decide from there if you want to go see it because you're like, I also remember reading this thing about. Was it reading? Oh no, tell a lie. It was from one of the guys from the Weekly Planet, where they were saying that I'm going to probably absolutely butcher this, but it was something to do with people don't read reviews because they want to know how a film is. People read reviews because they want to see if people had the same opinion that they did, and then try and either validate their own or invalidate theirs. So they don't give a shit whether. So, someone might not have gone to see the film, but like I said, I think I might have butchered that. But there was something along those lines where he just said, he doesn't have to give a shit about what people think about the film. It's more about
their opinion.
Yeah, whether they're thinking, subjectively I'm right or subjectively I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And it's more just like, oh well, I've got to make sure that I'm right. Or I need to prove that person's wrong. And I'm
validating their opinions, kind of thing.
Yeah, cool. I don't give a shit, whatever. Because I'm like, not everyone's gonna like everything. I know people aren't gonna like this, and I know I didn't like In the Earth.
But some people probably did.
I'm sure some people probably did. Fucking losers. But no, I'm only joking.
Completely, it's the same with all films. It's all subjective. Like, you look at things like Hereditary and stuff like that. Like, some people hate them and some people love them.
That being said, I will call people out on their bullshit if they try to disguise their racist political agendas in bullshit movie reviews, like I did with Candyman. Because I ain't standing for that shit, and you can't. No. I'm like, if you can give valid reasons as to why you didn't like it and not have a problem with society at large, by all means I'll listen to it. You know, like I know one of my friends in particular, he doesn't like Hereditary. Yeah, he doesn't like Hereditary, and I'm like, controversial opinion. We've talked about it enough, but I'm like, you know, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. But it's not a shit film. It's just not to everyone's taste.
It's not shit.
But I reckon, like, you know, fucking, we're getting into a bit too deep. Any other thoughts?
I'm trying to think.
Any other
thoughts?
Um,
Any other thoughts?
the only thing, not the only thing. One thing that I was a bit like, yeah, all right, was, you know, when he was like, you know, when she was on the phone and she was like, oh, when her boyfriend shoved his head against the wall, that woke him up, and I was like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
But I would have quite liked it if they hadn't been so explicit about it. And then, you know, when they were saying about, oh, you know, oh, he was causing the miscarriages and like feeding off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just would have liked. It just seemed a bit ham-fisted, where they were like, we need to explain everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you could have just come away with it like, oh yeah, you know, I think that this happened because of this, and then that happened because of that. Whereas
I agree with the head thing, but I think the whole her explaining the miscarriages was her sister trying to be like, yo, wake the fuck up, like trying to get her to come back, sort of thing, by getting her all emotional and angry.
oh, because she said it. Sorry, I thought she said it to the policeman. I'm completely misremembering it. I was like, why is she saying it to him?
Yeah.
But no, she said it to her to piss her off.
In the hospital.
Oh,
room,
yeah, no, yeah, fair enough, actually. Yeah. I'll take that bit back.
She's trying
but
to
yeah, that bit when
get
she
her
was like,
irate.
it was just like when she named him, and I was like, we met him for one scene.
Yeah.
The detective didn't even meet him. He just saw his head was on backwards and was like, eesh.
Yeah.
Like, of all the information and all the weird shit that he's been given on this case, you think he's going to be like, my God, you're right. Just be like, she's gone fucking mad. She's gone mad.
She's gone absolutely crazy.
It's this fucking weird twin thing that's like, it's Voldemort. It was Voldemort. It was bloody Voldemort, wasn't it?
When it was, I could not stop laughing when it was like when it still had a kind of body, and it was literally that Voldemort that's at fucking St. Pancras at the end.
Yeah.
The little like fetus.
It was just weird to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It did make me feel a bit uneasy. I wasn't like,
couldn't have eaten popcorn during that.
No. I didn't really want to drink my icy.
No.
Also because there was quite a lot of quiet points, and I was like,
but yeah, it was. And I feel like the reactions of the mum and Sydney as they were watching the video, I was like, yes,
very justified, because they literally were like,
so accurate. Yeah.
I think that was one of them where
that's how I felt. I was like, oh.
Do you think that was one of the things, you know, where it was like their genuine reaction? You know, am I going to go on IMDb, go on the trivia page, and then find that,
be like, oh,
you
they
know,
filmed this.
Oh, they recorded this on the VHS, and then they made the actors watch it, and then they just filmed their reaction.
Yeah.
So them seeing it was actually the first time they ever saw it.
I would not be surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That was fucking gross.
Because it was. Because that was the point where I went, because I was like, I was fully like, obviously I had my mask on, so you couldn't tell, but I was just like fully like absolutely mouth open, like, just like, because I just was not expecting that one bit. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? And I think it was that point where I was like,
okie dokie.
Come on then.
Yeah.
Lay it on me.
Give it
what you got? But again, yeah, that crazy fight scene in the police station, done really well. Because I feel like if that bit had been really shit, I just feel like this could have really easily been shit if another director had done it. Because I feel like it really benefited from James Wan directing it and being involved, like writing it, directing and producing it, you know, right theme tunes, in the theme tune, all that. I feel like it really benefited from it, because that whole that chase scene is great.
That chasing
Isn't
was
it?
great.
When he's like going through everything, I was really fucking tense. I was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I was like, I think that's it, because I was like, he's obviously going back to his little base
Yeah.
weirdo hole.
Also, he's just murdered someone, so maybe don't chase after him on your own in the dead of night.
And you just looked over the edge of the fire escape and you saw him climbing down it backwards.
Yeah.
As if he's a Spider-Man
just
or
fucking
something.
yeeting himself off.
I would have been
doing
like,
fucking handle.
back up,
handlebars.
please,
Yeah.
right now.
I'd been like, nah, not for me. But then again, you know, he was literally like, oh, I must be crazy, and then jumped off the fire escape onto the bin.
It was just all these little bits, wasn't it? Where it was like, it was refreshing having characters.
You know you're being an idiot.
Were being done,
but
and
you're
we're
doing it
like,
anyway.
and they're literally like, I know this is fucking stupid, but what other choice do we have
going
other
with
than
it.
going to like the police and all this sort of stuff?
Yeah.
I also thought everyone in this was really good. I thought everyone did a good old performance. For Annabelle Wallace, the main woman.
Yeah.
Thought she was very
did
good.
A great
A
job.
lot better than she was in that first Annabelle film. But then I don't necessarily think that was her fault. Again,
No.
that was
That's
some.
just
That was
sad.
that was a James Wan creation that was just pawned off to someone else, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was so great. Also, why my one beef.
Oh yeah.
My one beef. Why was the detective man named fucking Kakoa?
But that was his first name.
Yeah, that is not a first name.
I thought that was his last name. Up
Yeah.
until the very end when they went,
No.
oh, Detective Smith. Or
Yeah.
whatever his last name was. And I was like,
Yeah.
his name's Kakoa
Yeah.
Smith.
His name's Kakoa.
And I was like, because usually when they're in the police station, they're always like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
Johnson. Or whatever. It's always like the last name
Yeah.
sort of like, yeah, whatever. So when they were like, oh, Kakoza. And I was like, no, not Kakoza. Kakoa. Kakoza. As in X Factor.
Frankie
Kakoza.
Not
Wow.
Kakoza,
Yeah,
Kakoa.
Kakoa.
I think.
Yeah, it was.
Dumb name.
Yeah, not a fan. But-
Sorry if I've just offended anyone. That's
Yeah,
like,
sorry to all the Kakoas
All the
out there.
Kakao.
I know it's
not a name I've ever heard of. So.
it is obviously the well, you have heard of it.
Well, I have now.
Kakoa, isn't it? Well, I know it's cocoa, isn't it? But it's spelled like cocoa plants. Shit.
Oh. Yeah.
I also thought, I don't know if this, I had noticed this at the time, but you know when she was a little kid and she was speaking to Gabriel and she was in her room and then you saw the doll's house on the side. That looked like the house that she moved into
Did
when
it?
she was older. I don't know if it was an
Interesting.
intentional, but because there was a big like circular light coming out the top and then the bedroom looked the same layout as the bedroom that she was in. And then I was also like, is this going to be like the house from fucking The Conjuring or something? You know, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
Because James Wan doesn't just stick any old shit
No.
in his films, does he? He's like, there'll be something meticulous in there and there'll be something. But I also thought the creature design was very interesting. Obviously the
Yeah.
running backwards stuff,
Yeah.
which is what threw it. I think that was the thing. But like, I feel I wouldn't mind watching that again.
Yeah.
And just picking up on like the signs,
Those
little bits.
Yeah. I feel like it would be a good one to go back and rewatch now that you've seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
That is one that I'd be like happy to, because you know sometimes with horrors you're like, right, I've seen it once, and
A bit like Midsummer.
Midsummer,
Yeah.
yeah. I've seen it once. I don't need to watch it again
Shit.
ever, or for a long old while at least. But
Yeah.
that I'm like, right, show me those little bits that
Yeah,
I
too
missed
right.
the first time round.
Too right.
Mm. Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No other thoughts.
I'd get that on Blu-ray, you know. 2 for 2. Bloody hope there's a 2 for 30 quid Blu-ray offer when they both come out. But we shall see. Yeah, I did really enjoy it.
Good stuff.
Just in part because it's just so batshit crazy.
Cray,
Yeah.
cray. But yeah.
Out of 5 light bulbs that would smash when Gabriel arrives.
4.
You give it four smashed light bulbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
I'd give it 4.
Yeah. Very rarely a horror film will be.
Maybe 3.5.
Well, just pure bonkers shit.
It was fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
And there were bits where I was a bit like, okay.
Yeah.
But otherwise.
Yeah. That's fair. I'd stick with you on the four light bulb smash. Like I said, I don't know if it's because I was prepared to have some very mixed reactions to this. So
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised by the whole film in general. And I think maybe that's why I'm speaking so highly of it, because I wasn't sure. I thought it would just be one of them where I was like, oh no, James Wan's lost his magic. Like he's gone. He's gone elsewhere. He's lost the plot, mate. So bloody know what he's on about. But I was wrong. Maybe it is my respect for James Wan as a filmmaker that's clouding my judgment.
Maybe. We'll see.
But I think because I was willing to go into this to be disappointed, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like I was like, no, it's going to be good because it's James Wan. I was like, this could be very middle of the road.
This could
right
be
now.
bad.
Yeah.
This could be terrible.
Yeah. And I was like, Aquaman's got some good bits, but there's also some quite bad bits. Not bad bits, but just not great.
Yeah. Much like this.
Yeah.
Much like, yeah.
It's like any film.
Yeah.
Very rarely you get a film that's just good all the way through, unless it's Shang-Chi. But anything else?
No.
Right, that's right. And there it was, our driving home review. Very interesting. Was it controversial? Possibly. This is pre-recorded, so deal with it. Anyway, thanks for listening. And if you want to get in touch, give us a follow on Insta, Twitter, or give us a like on Facebook, where we're driving home reviews. It'd be great if you could subscribe and leave a nice juicy 5-star review, and maybe I'll buy you a pint. Is this bribery? Probably. But tune in next time for another driving home review. Bye bye!